Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's great to be here. I had the opportunity to be California's last Republican Lieutenant Governor with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the last Republican governor of the great state of California. And I see all of you here, and all I can say is thank you for coming out. And I say that with all my heart, because it makes me feel good as a Californian to be able to say a few words where there are people that are going to vote for Donald J. Trump. And the question you have to ask yourself is that if you look at California and you look at that beautiful state that is my hometown, is my home state, is where I was born and raised, that state has everything. If you think about it, California has everything a state could ask for. Yosemite, Big Sur, the beaches. I can go on and on and on, but it's got the worst government in America. I say that with all my heart, my friends, because I have lived it. And if you look at everything that's going on, who's been at the top of that government in California?
Newsom.
Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has been at the top of that government with Gavin Newsom and with Nancy Pelosi and with Willie Brown. And I can go on and on and on. They all come from San Francisco. They all come from San Francisco. And I'm here to ask you to please, to work hard and to give everything you got. And don't let Kamala Harris do to you what she did to me and my family in California. And I say that with all heart, my friends. Because if you look at, last night I was in Philadelphia, I spent the night and I turned on the TV and my God, I'm sorry for what you're going through with all these commercials. I mean, back to back. One of the first ones I saw Kamala Harris walking in front of a border wall. She called President Trump's border wall a vanity project. She has it in her commercials tonight. What does that tell you? She's a hypocrite. That's not who she portrays to be. What happened to Kamala is that in California, you're going to get elected when you have a D by your name. And the answer and the question is why? Well, unfortunately, our voters have left California. They've gone to Nevada, they've gone to Arizona, they've gone to Florida, they've gone to Texas, probably Pennsylvania as well, I'm sure. But they've left California, and what's left is a lot of Democrat votes. And that's why Kamala Harris has gotten elected and she's moved up the ladder in the great state of California. That's the only reason, because she calls herself a prosecutor. My friends, there is a difference between a prosecutor in Texas and a prosecutor from San Francisco. And you need to know that. She doesn't prosecute. She had a guy named Edwin Ramos in California, and I speak of Edwin Ramos because Edwin Ramos was pulled over 3 times by San Francisco PD. He's an illegal alien from El Salvador, was pulled over 3 times, and 3 times all Kamala Harris had to do was pick up the phone and call ICE. That's all she had to do. Pick up the phone, call ICE, and he'd be gone. But she didn't. On the 4th time, he killed a father and 2 sons right downtown San Francisco. And his wife, their mother, called me and asked for help. And couldn't believe that Kamala wouldn't even consider the death penalty for this guy. She just would. But that's who she is. You cannot forget that. And then obviously she became an attorney general. Let me tell you what she did as an attorney general just briefly. She wrote the title and summary of an initiative in California that legalized theft up to $950. So in my state of California, you can steal $950 and nothing will happen to you. And if you don't get caught, go to the next store, another $950, and nothing will happen to you. And actually, I haven't said this to my friends that have been on the bus with me, with Matt and with Cash. December 19th, 2022, my wife was robbed in Los Angeles. And just point blank robbed. And the police officer just had one thing to say: ma'am, you can't dress like this and come to Los Angeles and go into a mall. And she says, since when is it illegal to dress nice on your birthday in California? But my friends, that's what we're dealing with. And that's who Kamala Harris is. So when she became a U.S. Senator and a Vice President, and she was named the border czar, for us in California, border was kind of normal. That's who she is. She just opened the floodgates and let millions of people come across the border. Now, if you hear President Trump, he says, I support legal immigration. But he but he's against illegal immigration. And what does he say to us? Listen to what he says. On day one, he's going to seal the border and start the deportation of all these people that came here illegally. So the choice is clear, my friends. And then Kamala, to finish everything off, she goes out and finds Tim Walz. And Tim Walz is just an extension of Gavin Newsom. That's who he is. And you know, when she announced him, I looked at the TV just like you all did, and I looked at this guy, and CNN started portraying him, and he was wearing boots, and then he had Wranglers, and then he had a Carhartt shirt, and then he had a camouflage hat, and got a shotgun, and he's at the state fair hugging pigs. And then he puts tampons in 4th grade boys' classrooms. That's called a fake. He's a counterfeit. On the ranch, when we have a horse that bucks, we call him a counterfeit. We get rid of him. That's what we need to do to Kamala Harris as VP candidate, and Kamala Harris is just elect Donald J. Trump. So my friends, I voted yesterday in California. And I knew that when I put my ballot in the mail, I knew that it didn't count and it doesn't matter. And I mean that with all my heart, because Kamala Harris is going to win in California. That's just the way it is. So when I see all of you, you inspire me and you make me feel great, because I hope that if you go do your job and your work and get your friends out to vote, my vote might count, because we'll lose California, but we'll win the country and save our country. So thank you very, very much. I want to bring up a great patriot and a great friend of President Trump's, and someone who's joining us to get this message out, Monica Crowley. Please come forward.